Hey guys, Jade here, and today I want to talk about something that has recently become very special to me. You will probably see it in the title of the video, but I will show you what I'm talking about. So this is my little box of just assorted Game Boy Advance stuff. This is my system. I never made one in this color scheme. I actually had this custom made with some of my favorite colors. But what I wanted to talk about today was something that I played recently that I absolutely love, which is Mother 3. If you're a gamer and you've been gaming for, decades, then you know Mother 3 is a game fans have been asking for pretty much every chance they can get. It was a meme back when Reggie Fils-Aimé was president of Nintendo in America. People constantly asking him, Reggie, when is Mother 3 going to be localized? We have Mother 2 in the US. That's known as Earthbound. And now, actually, as of recently, we have Mother 1 also. They localized that a little while back. I think it was on the Wii U. So probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And they called that Earthbound Beginnings to try and keep with the Earthbound theme. I don't know what they would call this game if it came out in the US, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. Nintendo's looked into it. People have made videos on YouTube about it, why it's probably not going to happen. A lot of people originally kind of had the idea that it was due to content, like, the actual content of the game being too sensitive, like censorship issues and things like that. I don't think that's it. I've been watching some more videos recently, and they all seem to say that that's not what the issue is. Apparently it's the music, because a lot of the music in this game is note for note, kind of copying licensed music from like the Beatles and Michael Jackson and things like that. And you can't really change the music in this game because the soundtrack is very integral to the battle system, and it's a classic soundtrack. It's very, very good. And if you had to replace the music, it would just kind of mess up a lot of the game. So they're probably not going to pay the licensing fees that they would need to get a hold of the permission to port the soundtrack over and release it in America, because like I said, big names like Michael Jackson and the Beatles, those are going to be the most expensive licenses to get a hold of, so probably not going to happen. But I have been kind of curious about Mother 3 for a long time, and it was only recently that I found out that for quite a while now, you've actually been able to get a physical copy of this game. Obviously not legally, not, through Nintendo's official means, but, the ROM, the Japanese ROM of the game has been floating around out there for ages, and there are some dedicated fans who have created a patch where they have gone through and they have literally localized and translated every word of dialogue in the game. The story, the menus, everything. And I knew that the ROM was out there, and I knew that there was an English patch, but, like, I don't have a PC. All I have is my cell phone. I don't really want to play on an emulator. But then I found out that you can actually find cartridges where the ROM is on there with the patch applied. Now, I know that there's, like, a big market for bootleg GBA games where you can get them cheap, but they're not like official, but they still work fine. So like, I don't mind. For example, I know that the Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6, I don't know, just a bunch of the games that I have here are not official. It's hard to tell which ones are and which ones aren't. I know there's a way if you look at like the motherboard or something. Pretty sure this Pokemon Fire Red version is a knockoff. I don't know if you can tell by like the sticker or the motherboard, whatever. I'm pretty sure this Pokemon Ruby is a knockoff. I think the Metroid games that I have, Zero Mission and Fusion, are knockoffs. Some of mine are legitimate. Like, I think my Donkey Kong Country 3 is legitimate. Definitely the Zelda one is a knockoff. I don't even think that's what the sticker looks like on the official game. But anyway, so like I don't mind getting knockoff games as long as they work. The thing is, only certain games apparently are like work properly when you put them on a cartridge. So like, for example, if you search for, I don't know, Sonic Advance 3, you won't find like a $10 or $15 copy of Sonic Advance 3 out there because they can't make a bootleg of it because it doesn't run smoothly when they put it on a physical cartridge. So it only works with certain games. Since the Pokemon games all seem to work and Zelda seems to work, I want to say it's more like slow-paced games. But anything that's like really fast, like Sonic where he's running all the time, I think those are the games where it starts to like frame skip. So anyway, that's basically just a long way of saying that like some games it's easy to put on a cartridge, some it's not. Luckily, Earthbound 3, Mother 3, whatever you want to call it, is an RPG and is able to successfully be put on a cartridge with no issues running it. And so, they don't even go for that much money. It's about $25. And this one, the person decided to even include like their own handmade custom, cover art box. That's, I don't think Game Boy Advance games came in DS cases. I think they came in cardboard. But they gave me this, Mother 3 case with an actual barcode and like screenshots from the game and all this, fancy stuff. But yeah, so here's the actual cartridge. I'll take it out of my system. This is what mine looks like. They don't all look like this. Sometimes the sticker looks like this, but it's on a gray cartridge. I happen to get a transparent red one. Another one I see a lot is one that says, without this, like, this is the actual logo of Mother 3 in Japan. There's one that just says Mother 3 in regular text, and then it says fan translation, and then it's got a picture of 4 sprites of some of the main characters from the game. That was one I was originally going to get off of eBay, but then I found this one on Mercari for cheaper, and there was also like a Mercari coupon that week where you got like $10 off anything you bought. So really I got this game for like $15, which is insane. I thought I was going to have to pay a high price because I figured this game was hard to get a hold of and maybe not a lot of people had applied the fan translation patch, but I beat it the other day. Took me less than a week. Game's about 20 to 30 hours depending on what kind of side quests and grinding and stuff you do in it. This has got to be one of my new favorite games. Obviously there's always still going to be ones out there like Ocarina of Time and just Final Fantasy, like everyone's first Final Fantasy they played, that are always going to be like up there in your top 5. This is one of my new favorites. Luckily, I happened to get kind of into this around the time that some Mother 3 stuff was happening online. So as of the recording of this video right now, which we're at the beginning of March, they just finished doing Earthbound Mother 2 icons for your profile on the Nintendo Switch. And so they moved on to Mother 3 icons as of yesterday, and I immediately went onto the Japanese eShop and used my silver token coins to get all of the icons that were available. There's 20. And I immediately made Kumatora my new Switch profile icon picture because she is my favorite character from the game, despite her having a very limited role in the actual overall story. There's also going to be some Mother 3 plushies that release later this year. We don't have an exact release date yet. It's Japan only, obviously, since the game's not been released out in the US. But I will definitely be importing at least Kumatara, possibly Lucas, maybe more, depending on how much they cost. And other than that, I think the only official piece of licensed merchandise from Mother 3 that's been released outside of Japan legally has been the Lucas amiibo, and that's only because he was in Smash Brothers, and every Smash Brothers character has had an amiibo created for them. So I also purchased one of those just so that I could have as much Mother 3 stuff as possible. Um, it's not something you find a lot of merchandise for. If you go on eBay right now and do a search for uh, Kumatora, for example, there's only 3 results. One of them is like a little towel cloth napkin type thingy that released in Japan. They're selling that for like $30 to $50. There was a plush. I don't think it's an official plush. I think it's a like somebody made it and it's like $500. And then there's like a little square piece of wall art that's like probably like 15 to 25 bucks. None of those things I was really interested in, and they're too expensive. But I'm hoping that as we get closer to the Mother 3 like 20th anniversary, that maybe they'll put out some more merchandise. Like I said, I'm already going to get those, plushies that come out later this year. But basically, my point is, I don't know if you've played Earthbound. There's lots of different ways to play it. It's on Nintendo Switch Online if you have the expansion pass. It's on the Super Nintendo games. I think Mother 3 was only released on the Game Boy Advance. I don't believe it's a Super Nintendo game. I'd have to double check that. I don't remember off the top of my head. Obviously, I played it on Game Boy Advance. I don't know if that's the original way. And other than that, yeah, Earthbound. So Mother 2, Earthbound. Like, there is a bunch of stuff in the U.S. for Earthbound. There's multiple different ways to play it. I think it was released. It was released officially back in the day on the Super Nintendo, so you could buy the cartridge. It was also released on the NES Classic, which was the little mini NES. It's also, like I said, on Switch Online. So Earthbound, not that hard to play. It's available multiple places. Mother 3, I thought was a lot harder to get a hold of, but once I decided I wanted it and I had my mind set on it, was able to find this super quickly. Within, 1 day of searching, I found different copies in different places, found the one I wanted, ordered it, had it within a couple days, and popped it into my my Game Boy Advance. I think no matter who you get it from, it's the exact same fan translation, since there only is one fan translation version. I like the people who made it, their names are in the credits before the actual staff credits roll. But I'm pretty sure there's only one way to access this version of the game. So when I boot mine up, yours should look the same. It'll be the health and safety screen, and then you'll press the button. It'll say Mother 3 fan translation, and it'll give a little note from the fan translation team with a link to the website. And this is version 1.3, which is the latest version as of right now. I don't think there's ever going to be a more up-to-date version. I think they're pretty much done. They've been done for a while. Everything in the game has been translated, and I didn't come across any spelling errors or grammar mistakes when I was playing, so I really don't think there's anything for them to fix. Then after you press the A button again, you get Game Boy Player, and then the blue Japanese Nintendo logo. It's red in America and blue in Japan. Based on the fact that it says Game Boy Player, it looks like this isn't running as an actual Game Boy game. I think it's playing it like through an emulator through the Game Boy Player, I guess. That's why it gives you that splash screen. But here's the title screen. You get new, obviously if you have a save file, it'll say load, and then there's also a sound player. The game came out in 2006, so we're about 2 years away from the 20th anniversary. And if I were to load my save file, I beat the game recently, so my last save was at about 28 hours in. it's just a great game, though. I highly recommend it. I don't really want to like talk too much about the game itself because I don't want to get into spoilers. If you want to know like a general gist of what it's about, you can look it up online. Just be careful that you don't accidentally get into spoiler territory. But Mother 3 is just so good. Now I can see why all the people have been bugging Nintendo so much for them to localize the game and bring it out in the US. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. At this point, I don't really care because I've already played it, but play it for yourself and then you decide. All right, till next time, guys.